Yo, what is going on, guys? Tanner here with Tanner Phifer on Twitter, Phifer Football on Instagram, and everywhere else. You guys here with the NFL Rumors Podcast, Season 3, Episode 3. Welcome to the great NFL Rumors. How you doing?
Hey, doing great, man. A lot of big things happening today. A lot of big news happening, but really happy to be on the show again tonight with you and doing this every week. And it's been great. I got my partner with me here.
Absolutely, man. I'm glad to be here, blessed to be here, and just happy to take a part of this. There was a lot happening within the last 48 hours, so I'm going to go ahead and just go over some of the major news transactions, and then, of course, we're going to step into the NFL rumors in just a minute. So let me pull up some of the stuff that's kind of been going on. Today, Maxx Crosby, I believe, became the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history on an average year basis, I believe, right? Hopefully that's right.
Right, it is.
Yeah, so he signed a 3-year, $101.6 million deal. Just an absolute insane deal to pretty much ensure that he's going to stay there in Vegas. We've got a trade that happened. The Bears have traded for 2 offensive linemen in the last 2 days. They traded for Jonah Jackson from the Rams, and then they traded today for Chiefs offensive lineman Joe Thuney, who's a 4-time Super Bowl champion, 32 years old, for a 2025 4th-round pick. I mean, if you're wanting to protect Caleb Williams, that's about as good as it. I mean, for 2 days, that's good work. We got an update with Tank Dell undergoing ACL repair surgery. He's gone under 2 more procedures for his MCL and LCL, I want to say. He was really tore up with that last injury, so let's hope everything goes well. Devontae Adams released. Adam Lazard also granted permission to seek a trade after signing a 4-year, $44 million deal just 3 seasons ago. So he's heading into his 3rd season with the Jets, likely to be cut or traded. And of course, T. Higgins franchise tag Darius Slay released. And Alex Kappa was released by the Bengals and shortly signed by the Raiders today, barely 2 days later. So that's a lot of information thrown at you guys in the last 60 seconds, but obviously there's tons of rumors surrounding all of that. Let's see. Jacoby, I'm praying DK becomes a Patriot. Well, we're going to go ahead and start with the rumors because, of course, there's going to be tons surrounding DK.
Yeah, definitely. So DK Metcalf requested a trade. A lot of people knew that they had rumored that teams have called about him, but obviously that sparked his interest to get a trade. Now, one of the hot rumors around the combine, Tanner, was the Packers.
Oh, I know.
That was the hot one, but that's not the only team that's still interested. I'm hearing the Raiders are interested. We're hearing the Patriots are interested in him. We're the Chargers. Just to name a few, and I'm sure there are others, but that's the
Chiefs.
ones that happened. Yeah, the Chiefs.
See the Chiefs doing it, man.
Yeah, I did see him reply to one somebody said about the Chiefs, and he said it was too cold. So if it's too cold, I'm going to say that all these teams, except the Chargers and the Raiders, might be out if you don't want to go to a cold weather team.
Well, here's the thing is we've got a Seahawks fan right here in the comments. Michael says he thinks he's going to the Packers. Would be huge. And
wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. And the Packers, I think, have made it known that they're going to make a big splash. They want that wide receiver 1. They kind of had a lot of inconsistency this last season. And if you took away some of the dropped catches and play-worthy or big play-worthy drops, whatever, from the Packers receivers, it would have actually ranked Jordan Love in the top 3 or 5 quarterbacks in the NFL when it comes to yards and touchdowns.
Yeah, definitely. And I think DK Metcalf, the Packers, makes a lot of sense. And, you have to ask yourself the question, would you rather be having Jordan Love throw to you or Geno Smith? Not a Geno hater or nothing, but, Jordan Love's got a lot more, he's younger. He's got, I would probably say the better arm. for sure.
Most definitely the better arm. I think he has the fastest thrown ball in NFL history right now.
Yeah, the Chargers, I know that they've been a lot of rumors around them in the past with DK Metcalf. Even we don't have it down on our page, but the Steelers, I heard during the trade deadline that they called last year. So, that's a definite possibility. I can tell you the Steelers had a deal with Christian Kirk, Tanner, that they had a deal with Christian Kirk at the trade deadline, and that trade was going to happen with Jacksonville. Then he got hurt, right? So that trade couldn't happen. So the Steelers will be really big in there, right? The Commanders are also going to be in on Kirk, from what I'm hearing early on.
Not after trading for Debo.
Yeah, I still think there's still a player there, right? Because that's going to bring you Denami Brown. Would you rather have Denami Brown or Christian Kirk? That's the question that the Commanders would have there, right? Justin Fields, a lot of rumors around him right now, but the big thing is he has mutual interest in joining the Steelers back, and the Steelers like him. But there's rumors around the Raiders, Jets, Colts, all around him with a week to go before free agency. So Justin Fields getting a lot of love. Yeah,
Justin Fields. Obviously, I think between him and Russell Wilson, the Steelers are definitely going to, target Fields, I feel like, over Russell Wilson. He's younger, more upside, more athletic right now just due to age and everything. I think Justin Fields is probably a lock, in my opinion, right now to stay in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. And that means that several quarterback-needy teams are actually open. Matthew Stafford is staying with the Rams. The Giants, I think, made it known that they wanted him. So could they be targeting Aaron Rodgers as a free agent? And do you think Davante Adams is going to follow Aaron Rodgers?
Well, I think Davante Adams is going to end up on the West Coast, right? Whether you're looking at Vegas again, whether you're looking at the Chargers, you're looking at the 49ers, you're looking at the Rams, one of those teams, I think that's where Davante Adams will end up. I think the biggest thing that the Rams want to go, they wanted to pair together for the Rams. But Maxx Crosby said something interesting last night. He said the quarterback he would like to have on the team is Aaron Rodgers.
Yep. And then Kuas says here that he thinks he's going to reunite with Pete in Vegas. I think Tyler Lockett, Davante Adams, Aaron Rodgers could all end up in Vegas. That would be insane.
Yeah, I think Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf, one of those two will end up with the Raiders.
Wow.
I really do. I think one of those two for sure will end up with the Raiders. Lockett actually came out and said that the Raiders was a very interesting team.
And we called that, 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago?
Definitely.
I mean, we've been talking about that every single show in season 3 so far.
Right. We've been talking about the Lockett that was going to get released. We actually talked about Christian Kirk was going to be released or traded. We was talking about that in February, right?
We talked about that. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, guys. We've been trying to tell you Lockett was going to be a release candidate, and it actually happened. I mean, it wasn't hard to predict. We all saw it coming, but we were telling you it was probably 85% sure it was going to happen. Yeah. And then we told you premeditated that the interest from the Raiders was there. It's a real thing.
Yeah, and Christian Kirk, they're going to be interested from the Steelers for sure. He was released. We brought that out. He was going to be a cat casualty. A few weeks ago ahead of that, we talked about. We actually talked about another one we went through. I think it was. I'm trying to think of the other one that we went through. We talked about Zach Bond, like all the teams wanting Zach Bond.
Yeah.
But he ends up signing with the, back with the Eagles, and how he said at the combine that he was going to make an offer before he went to free agency, and he stood by that.
Right. Oh, and they paid Saquon.
And Saquon, right? Right, Saquon. So I want to go back to this a little bit today because it did get some steam about some Hunter Renfrow stuff just real quick. And so there was a report out of Vegas that
Pay attention, everybody.
Yeah, so they was going to get a report out of Vegas that Hunter Renfrow was going to retire, right? Hunter Renfrow replied to the Post and said he wasn't. That was news to him, right? I've actually reached out to Hunter Renfrow, and Tanner can tell you I shared a tweet with them, right? I reached out to Hunter Renfrow. He told me it was all good. He loved the account. NFLRumors was the man. He didn't, mean to cause any kind of issue or anything. He didn't. He didn't cause any issue at all, right? And I mean, they responded to the rumor, right, that was out there. But big kudos to Hunter Renfro. The conversation me and him had, it was amazing, and I really appreciate him reaching out. Definitely. And he said he wants to get back to playing. He told me personally. He personally told me he want to get back to playing, and he would love to play with Derek Carr again. That's what he told me.
Ooh. All right. And speaking of Derek Carr, we do have a question here. Will the Saints let Carr go? Any info?
I think Derek Carr's going to stay with the Saints. I really do. I heard another rumor around that he's trying to recruit Davante Adams. Now, I know New Orleans ain't the West Coast, but Derek Carr is his really close friend, right? And that might have some very intertwined stuff there, right, with the Saints, if he wanted to go there. But I really think, man, San Francisco's a really, really hard spot not to see Davante Adams in. It gives him a veteran presence. And Brandon Ayuk, they don't know if he's going to be back, right, for week 1.
Right.
So, he's on the trade block, supposedly.
Apparently, it's a fire sale in San Francisco right now.
I mean, George Kittle, they're trying to get a deal done with him. They're going to get a deal done with Brock Purdy. They got Ricky Pearsall already there. They got some stuff there, but I think they'll want to add like a vet wide receiver, whether that be. I think that Davante Adams, man, it makes just too much sense to me for the Niners right now. Gardner Minshew, that's another one we talked about, right? Gardner Minshew was going to be a release coming up in the corner.
Yeah, we did discuss that. We discussed that.
Yep. So Davante Adams, listen, there's a lot of rumors out there on Instagram that Davante Adams is interested in the Patriots. I'm going to go out there on a limb here and say Davante Adams is very unlikely to sign with the Patriots. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Josh McDaniel was the head coach of the Raiders, and he tore up a chance for him and Derek Carr to play with each other. Right? And I would not be a better man that Davante Adams on to New England.
I'm also going to add in on that. You guys, listen here when I tell you this. The Patriots are not like a pass-first, super air raid friendly team. The last true wide receiver one that they had, you could argue, was Edelman. But they were always kind of spread the ball around. And I just don't. And Drake May, I think, has a lot of upside, but they're just not going to be you're not going to see Cooper Kupp type numbers from a Patriots wide receiver right now, you guys. You're just, in my opinion, you're just not. You're not going to see someone getting a triple crown, no matter who the wide receiver is there. I don't see 15 targets a game for a wide receiver in New England. Just my 2 cents, and that's like a true analysis there.
Right. So, another one, I'm going to throw this out there, something I just heard. We'll tweet it out a little bit later, but you heard it here on the NFL Rumor Shows with Tanner, that Cooper Kupp will not be on the Rams roster next year. I know they said that all doors are open. Sean McVay said that he don't do an absolute like the Star Wars character, right? Like a Sith. But Cooper Kupp, I'm hearing that he is being auctioned off in trade talks.
Yeah, it's now it's very unlikely Cooper Kupp is going to be back with the Rams. I think they're still just exploring what they're going to do with him. And we talked about that actually in the first episode this season. It was possibly the Steelers, right? Possibly the Lions for Cooper Kupp. And you said Commanders. I don't know if they'd pull the trigger now.
Yeah, I don't think the Commanders would now, right? Because they got Debo there. I think Christian Kirk is somebody it's somebody they've been enamored with. I think when you look at Cooper Kupp, I think you have to look at the Lions. You have to look at the Steelers. I think that's the two teams that I would look at. I mean, the Vikings could be a wild card shot for him, right? Because of the offense he played in for the Rams. I mean, they could be a wild card shot for him. Justin Jefferson, Addison, Kupp, man, I don't know if you could put a better offense out there than those guys, together. And they got the TJ Hawkinson too. So you're talking about a very good, yeah. And I heard too, Tanner, today. I think it was from one of the Vikings reporters. I can't remember his name. He said Minnesota right now is working on trying to land Aaron Jones before free agency.
Yeah, I think that his name was kind of hopping around. He signed that 1-year deal with Minnesota, but I think that they're going to re-sign him.
Yeah, definitely. I think here's the big thing to me about Davante Adams, just talking about him and people like the Niners, Chargers being interested in him. One of the things I want to say about that is I think the Rams better move Cooper very quick, right? Because those other teams is going to get ahead of him on Davante if they do want Davante Adams, because Davante Adams is not going to come there thinking that he's a third wheel.
No, team, and you got to think about all the other receivers on the trade block right now. Brandon Ayuk, DK Metcalf, possibly.
Right.
Davante Adams, he has the ability. He can sign anywhere he wants.
Exactly. Davante Adams, we talked about that a while back too, my man.
Big name wide receivers right now can be on the market, you guys.
Right. The Packers, he said a while back on a podcast with Kay Adams that he had an open door to the Raiders or the Packers, either one. If Aaron Rodgers goes to the Raiders, Tanner, Maxx Crosby loves Davante Adams, right?
Right, yeah.
And Maxx Crosby's going to go in their front office and he's going to scream for Davante Adams again. Right, to come back there with Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers goes to the Raiders, there's a real chance that Davante Adams can find his way back to Las Vegas. Because it wasn't the fact that they wanted to get rid of him, right? Vegas didn't want to get rid of Davante. It's the fact that Davante wanted to go and play with Aaron Rodgers.
And I don't blame him for wanting out of Vegas, and I still wouldn't. I don't think going to Vegas is the smartest move for Aaron Rodgers, to be honest with you. I think Pete Carroll can definitely turn that into a winning organization, but I just don't see them being when he went to the Jets, they had this really promising defense and everyone is expecting this. They're going to be kind of, holding back this time and be like, okay, let's not jump the gun here and let's just see what happens. I just don't see them being this win now team with the addition of Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams. I just don't know.
Yeah, and another thing too, Tanner, a couple more wide receiver rumors we want to throw out there. The Patriots at the Combine called about AJ Brown, which we talked about that a little bit, right? The Patriots called about AJ Brown, seeing if he's available. Now that doesn't mean that the Eagles is going to trade him, right? But they called to see his availability. And we know A.J. Brown and Mike Vrabel's got a really close relationship with each other. You know who I could really see ending up with the Patriots maybe in the offseason is Diggs.
Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, if they can't make the trade for one of these other wide receivers, I could see Diggs being out there because reportedly, even though he's franchised now with the Bengals, T. Higgins, they were getting ready to get out of that sweepstakes, right, with T. Higgins. Yeah. So, that's very, very interesting there. There are going to be a lot of good wide receivers. Let's talk about running backs real quick. All right. Jordan Mason, right?
Yeah, I heard about that.
The Niners are getting calls on him, and they're not saying no.
The thing is they've been able to draft running back after running back successfully. The problem is they never have a running back that stays healthy.
Definitely.
So, if you trade away Jordan Mason, you're trading away depth.
I agree.
And Christian McCaffrey right now is not a lock to be healthy for a full season. It was 100%. A miracle that he was healthy for all of the 2023 season.
Yeah, and the Bears are looking for the two guards they signed they're looking to be road graders, just like the Lions, right? Is what they're looking at. They got DeAndre Swift already. They've been rumored to pick Genty. They've been rumored to sign Nick Chubb in free agency. And now all of a sudden you got Jamal Williams, who actually ran behind the offensive lineman there that now plays for the Bears when he was with Detroit, and he broke Barry Sanders' single season touchdown record.
Oh, dang, that's right.
Yep. So Jamal Williams could be
He was released by the
definitely
Saints.
right. So he could be a definitely player in the Bears if the Bears don't get the maybe let's just say the Bears has got a wish list of 2 or 3 different backs. They go. One of the things to pay attention to with Nick Chubb and DeAndre Swift are best friends, right? So Nick Chubb played at Georgia with Swift too. So that could be something to really, really watch, Tanner. And we're hearing Pittsburgh might be interested too if they don't sign Najee Harris. So that's some interesting things about the running back situation.
I could see Najee Harris going to the Raiders.
Yeah, I could too. Dre Greenlaw, let's talk about your guy. Right.
Dre Greenlaw.
I really love Dre Greenlaw. I love the way he holds himself on the field, even off the field. He had some great draft stories, right? And Dre Greenlaw, everybody thinks that he is the linebacker number 1 in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there are a lot of teams that's willing to pay. And I think that's the reason he's telling the Niners that he wants to test free agency, because he knows that there's a good market out there for him.
Absolutely, there is.
Yep,
I just think that, like I said, I think that Texas connection is really strong with him. A lot of Arkansas players train in Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth area. And obviously the D'Amico Ryans connection. And there might be some other staff members from the 49ers on the Texans right now. But, did D'Amico Ryans take any position coaches with him?
Yeah, took a ton with them, right, when he came. I mean, he even brought Jimmy Ward with him from San Francisco, right?
Right, there's players, there's coaches connections.
Yeah, and the guy that played the linebacker position, too, Tanner, with them, is right there already with the Niners.
And he'd be closer to his alma mater in Arkansas. He'd literally be like 4 to 6 hours away, really.
Talk to me about Alan Lazard. I know you're clued in with the Packers. Talk to me about him. Jets are trying to trade him.
Jets are trying to trade him. I just don't know who's going to. Alan Lazard, if you guys are a Packers fan listening, you understand the pain of Alan Lazard. He can literally make the craziest contested catch ever, but in an open field, he can't catch a cold. So he's a 50-50 guy. I was so surprised. I wasn't surprised that he signed with the Jets. I was surprised that they signed him to the deal they did. 4 years, $44 million, and he's done nothing in 2 years, heading into his 3rd season on that contract. He's going to be a cap cut casualty, dude. I'm just telling you. I don't know who's going to trade for him.
He definitely could. Like, and when we look at his cap situation, like when we really look at the cap space and, when you're looking at the Jets and somebody willing to deal them, like, right, if they trade Alan Lazard, you're talking about they gain $6.6 million in cap space, the Jets, right? But now if they cut Alan Lazard, they actually gain $11 million in cap space and make it a June 1st post.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm with you. I think that could be what they end up doing. But Alan Lazard, I'm trying. I'm going to have to go back and look at my notes. But I don't know if you remember this at the time. But it just jogged my memory a few minutes ago. Remember there was another team that was very interested in landing Lazard. Then at the last second, he came and went to the Jets.
And what team was it?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do. Look at my notes, do some research on that for us. But like he was almost locked into that other team, and then all of a sudden he went to the Jets because of Aaron Rodgers.
I would have to take a look too.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that and see what happens. I'll tell you another good linebacker out there that is going to be a cut too. We haven't heard of it yet. It's going to be C.J. Mosley. He's going to be a cap cut.
For the Jets, right?
Right. He will. And C.J. Mosley, a very good linebacker. He really played well for Robert Saleh. He might be an option if the 49ers lose Dre Greenlaw to come in and play. So we'll have to see what happens. But the Niners, one of the other big free agents they have, and I really like this kid, is Hufanga, the safety.
Yes.
And I think he could go to multiple teams. Like I've heard the Colts, I've heard the Steelers, I've heard multiple teams that's interested. The Falcons, right? Like Hufanga trains with Troy Polamalu in the offseason. So
All-time great legend.
Yeah. So you're talking about, he could really sell the Steelers to him. And Minka Fitzpatrick. I've been saying this for a few weeks. I know I'm not saying it on our show, I don't think, but I've been saying this a few weeks. I think Fitzpatrick could end up maybe playing for somebody else this year.
Where is he at now? The Steelers still?
Yeah, Minka Fitzpatrick, but he did have a rough year last year, even though he had some injuries. He's got a big contract, Tanner.
He's a ball hawk still.
Yep, he's got a big contract, right? But I think that they've had some really good safety play for the Steelers too in other positions. Like when you look at the Sean Elliott, like he had one of the best, tackle seasons that's on record. Pretty much. But Minka is due a lot of money, right? Like Minka is actually, the Steelers can free up $15 million in cap space with him. Right? And you're going to get, think about the used. I'm going to bring in Hufanga and over a 30-year-old corner or 30-year-old safety, a young corner or young safety rather. Right.
You think the 49ers are going to be dumping that many players?
Yeah, I do. I think Dre Greenlaw's got a chance to go. I think Hufanga. I'm going to tell you the only reason Hufanga's got a chance to go because he's so young, man. The reason I think he's got a chance to go is because the safety they drafted last year. He's actually way ranked very, very high in PFF and Pro Football Focus. Is as a top. He's one of the top hitters out there. It was a great draft that they had with that safety position. I think that's allowing them to let Hufanga walk.
Do you remember who it was?
I wanna tell you his name right off. I know that I had it like.
Yeah, I know.
Malik Mustafa.
Oh yeah. I forgot he was on that team.
Yep.
So, yeah, he played great.
Yep. So he's got there, and you got to think about another thing about just talking about the Niners real quick, and we're talking about Jordan. Their running back, and a lot of people being interested there in that situation.
Yep.
Well, we got to remember their draft last year, right? When they got Isaac Guerendo, right? So they can let him walk. They can let their other running back walk and still come back with Guerendo, right? And still be fine.
And they're going to draft another. They will.
Exactly. Yeah. And Javon Hargrave, they're going to give him a June 1st cap release. Javon, I'll tell you, he could be a big player on one of these one of these teams. I heard the Niners want him back, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. Yep. Hey, and I want to say we want to thank all of almost 4,000 people that's tuned in.
That's a lot of people, guys. I don't know. I think so. We missed a show last week, and I barely got my PC working tonight. I had to order a new computer, and that was not cheap. And just until 10 minutes before the show, I did not have my PC working. It was terrible shape, but finally restarted it a few times, and it's working smoothly at the moment. But still got a new computer on the way. I'm happy about that. So thank you, though. Even though we took a week off, we're still grateful that you guys have tuned in. Almost 4,000, just like Rumors said. That is a lot of people listening live right now.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. We really appreciate everybody tuning in, to tune in for your NFL news and coverage for me and Tanner, taking time out of your day. We really do appreciate that. And definitely try to get you the best news out there. One of the things we might not have talked about was Bradley Chubb was going to be a release candidate there, Tanner, and the Miami end up reworking his deal so he could stay.
I saw that, actually. I didn't see the context on it. I don't know how much they saved. Do you?
Right. No, I didn't see the context on it, but that's what we're kind of seeing there with Chubb. But this free agency is going to be hot and heavy. You definitely need to turn your notifications on for me and Tanner. We're going to have work for your football content. This guy's got 70,000 followers on our Instagram. That's right. Yep. So definitely, we've been doing a little bit more on Instagram with the NFL Rumors, so we appreciate that. For all the people that's tuning in and following us, we really appreciate it. And I want to say that we appreciate everything everybody's doing, every like, every retweet everybody's doing out there to make the NFL Rumors successful. Without you, we couldn't do it. And, we really appreciate everything that we got going on, and we're excited for this upcoming week. Get your coffee ready.
Yeah, make sure you guys have your post notifications turned on. Free agency is going to be literally insane, and we plan to stay on top of it. So you don't want to miss anything, okay? Make sure you're subscribed on every podcast platform. That is Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. There's like Pocket something. I don't know. There's tons of these little podcast platforms. YouTube as well. You guys want to listen to us on YouTube? We're there too.
Yeah.
Just search Phifer Football or Tanner Phifer or even NFL Rumors podcast. We will pop up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. There's tons of rumors, and by the time we have our show next week, we're going to be catching you guys up on the latest, answering all your questions.
Yeah, and we want to just say out there, and you can check out the page as well just for confirmation, but we're running 100% on our salary cap casualties right now. Right, so definitely look down the page, look at maybe some of your team that might be getting ready to get rid of someone. We've got a list. We're going to look at, see if we're going to generate a few more today. But definitely check it out, and we really appreciate again everybody. And Tanner's a really great follow, guys. He knows his football. He's a video guru as well, like most of these guys during the games this season, like Adam Schefter, Ari Moreau, quite a few myself. I can't even tell you how many people took his videos and put in their content. Right.
That's true. I will say that gladly and proudly. I will say that I tried to cover all the highlights during the game, so I take the clips and post them as fast as possible, you guys. So make sure you do tune in on that. Follow me here at Tanner Phifer. With the click of a button, you guys will have not just all the NFL rumors, but all the NFL news, everything you guys need NFL related. You're going to get the best of both worlds if you follow us both. Thank you guys so much. It's been a great episode, and we can't wait to bring it to you next week. Tons of questions are going to get answered. Tons of topics are going to get talked about. Post notifications, turn them on. Free agency is going to be fun and crazy. We will see you guys in the next one.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good evening.
You too, buddy.